Welcome to the fourth episode of Build Your Own Tile System with ProBuilder and Unity. On the previous 3 episodes, we created a set of tiles for different types of walls, including straight walls, corners, doors and windows. We also learned how to optimize the meshes created with ProBuilder. On this episode we'll create a set of tiles for floor and ceiling. If you did your homework, you should have a set of door tiles and a set of window tiles. We'll start by dragging the floor-ceiling tile into the hierarchy. Pro-builderize it. As you may remember, on the first episode, we specified the bottom center as the pivot point for all tiles. This is a characteristic that our wall tiles already have, however we did not made such adjustment for the floor-ceiling tile. That's a detail we must fix before spreading this discrepancy to more tiles. So, please orbit around to see the bottom face. Make sure face mode is selected. Select the bottom face, and click on Set Pivot. Finally, reset the transform. In this case, we need only 3 tiles. 1 for the edges, 1 for the corners, and 1 for the interior. In order to match the alignment of the other tiles, we're going to delete the left and front faces to create our corner tile. Then rename it as Floor Ceiling C and save it. For the edge tile, we have to delete the right face. Then rename it as Floor Ceiling E, and save it. And finally, for the interior tile, delete the back face. Rename it as Floor Ceiling I, and save it. Go to the project window and move the mesh assets to their own folder. And finally, remove the tile from the scene. We're ready to test our tiles. But before that, we need to go to the ProGrids window and set the snap increment to 3. We're going to build a 2-story building with a 5 by 5 tiles base, or in other words, 15 by 15 meters. We'll start with the floor. First, we'll build a 5 by 5 platform, then we'll surround it with another row of tiles to create a nice sidewalk. To do so, drag the interior floor tile to the hierarchy. And then duplicate it 4 times by hitting Ctrl D 4 times. Select Object Mode, and make sure snapping is on. Then, one by one, drag each copy along the Z-axis to its proper position. To keep things organized, please, create an empty game object. Name it Floor. Reset its transform. And drag all the floor tiles inside it. With the 5 tiles selected, hit Ctrl D to duplicate them. Drag them along the X-axis to snap a second row. Repeat this process 3 times more to complete the 5 by 5 platform. Drag a floor ceiling E tile to the scene and place it just above the platform. Drag the new tile near the bottom left corner until it snaps, then, drag it down a little bit until it snaps. Duplicate the tile, drag it along the X-axis until snaps. And repeat this process 3 more times. Select the 5 edge tiles and drag them inside the floor container. Duplicate them and drag the copied tiles to the opposite side of the platform until they snap. Change the rotation of the Y-axis to 180 degrees. Once more, drag the floor ceiling E tile to the scene, just above the platform. Once there, drag it near the bottom left corner, but this time, please, align it parallel to the X-axis. Drag it a little bit down until it snaps. And change its rotation on the Y-axis to -90 degrees. Duplicate the tile 4 times. Move them to the floor container. Duplicate them. Drag the copied tiles to the opposite side. And rotate them 180 degrees on the Y-axis, which is equivalent to a 90 degrees rotation. To complete the sidewalk, please, drag the floor ceiling C tile to the scene, just above the platform. Drag it to the bottom left corner until it snaps. Drag it a little bit down until it snaps. Duplicate it. Drag it to the next corner. And rotate it -90 degrees. Repeat the process, only this time rotate the tile 180 degrees. Do it once more, and this time rotate the tile 90 degrees. Finally, select the 4 corners and move them to the floor container. We're not going to add anything else to this group, so please collapse it. Create a new empty object. Reset its transform, and rename it as walls. For the walls, please apply the same techniques we used for the floor. I think by this time, you should be able to assemble the walls yourself without any guidance, so, to save time, I'm fast forwarding the process. Reduce the play speed if you need to. If you remember, on episode 2, we used the Boolean tool to create our door tile. The Boolean tool created a new shape based on the two we provided as input. That introduced a problem I didn't realize then. Because the shape was new, the pivot point setting was lost, so our current door has its pivot point at its center and not at the bottom center of a 3 meters cube. We need to fix this before going any further. To do so, please double-click on the Door 2ZZ tile. This will open it on prefab mode. Make sure you're watching the frontal face. The pivot point must be 0.2 meters below the wall's bottom. So, we have to change the snap increment to 0.2. ProBuilderize the tile. Select Edge Mode. And select one of the bottom edges. Drag it down while holding Shift until it snaps. Select Vertex Mode, and select the vertex near to the center. The frontal face is 1.3 meters away from the origin. That means we need to pull this vertex 1.3 meters forward. Set the snap increment to 1.3, and then pull the vertex to the front until it snaps. The door is 1 meter wide, so we need to move the vertex 0.5 meters to the center. Set the snap increment to 0.5. Drag the vertex towards the center until snaps. And set it as the pivot point. Please notice the transform position is now at the origin, which confirms the pivot point is at the right spot. Select Face Mode. Select the useless face, and delete it. Exit Prefab Mode, and go to the project. If I click on the prefab we just edited, its outline is drawn on screen as if it was already on the scene. That's a bug in the Unity version I'm using to record this video. Hopefully it will be fixed by the time you watch this. But if you can also see it, please don't worry, it does not affect your work. Drag the prefab to the hierarchy, and export it to regenerate its mesh. Please answer yes when asked if you want to replace the old prefab. For some reason, maybe a bug, the export process generates a clone of the exported prefab. Let's delete both. Go to the Meshes folder and delete Door 2ZZ. Go to the Prefabs folder and move the new mesh to the Meshes folder. Please remember to follow the same procedure to fix the remaining door tiles. Drag the Door 2ZZ tile to the scene and place it on the proper position to complete the wall. Before starting with the second floor, let's create a staircase. So please open the Shape tool. Select Stair. Floors are 3 meters apart, that's the height. To make our stair architecturally correct, it must have 17 steps and a depth of 4.8 meters. And the width will be 3 meters. Extrude the back face until it snaps. Move the tile up and orbit the camera around to watch the bottom. Select Edge Mode, select the back and front edges, and bridge them. Set the snap increment to 0.2, select Face Mode, select the bottom face, and subdivide it. Select the two faces on the taller side, and merge them. Pull the merged face down until it snaps. Click on Set Pivot, then push it back to its original position, and delete all the bottom faces. We need to make room for a wall. That means we need to reduce the width 0.2 meters. So, please select all the faces on one of the sides. Then push them inwards until they snap. And delete them. Orbit around to see the opposite side. Select all the faces, and delete them. Also delete the back face. Save the tile. Remove it from the scene. And move the mesh file to the Meshes folder. Drag the stair tile into the scene. Select Object Mode, set the snap increment to 3, and place the tile on its proper location. Let's add a wall to build a staircase. We need 2 tiles, please drag the wall S2ZZ tile into the scene. And place it next to the wall. Drag the wall S2ZR tile into the scene, and complete the wall. Create a container in the hierarchy to group these 3 tiles. Next we'll build the second floor. Drag a floor ceiling E tile into the scene. Align it to one of the edges on the second level. Then duplicate it to cover the walls. Use the floor-ceiling C tile for the corners. Remember to take into account the staircase. Use the floor-ceiling I tile to complete the floor. We need to make some adjustments to the stairs. Select Edge Mode. Set the snap increment to 0.2. ProBuilderize the tile. Select the front edge, and drag it down while holding Shift until it snaps. Set the snap increment to 0.1. Select the right edge, and drag it to the right while holding Shift until it snaps twice. Set the snap increment to 1.5, and drag the edge backwards while holding Shift until it snaps 4 times. Set the snap increment to 0.1. Drag the edge towards the left until it snaps twice. Set the snap increment to 1.5, and drag the edge forward until it snaps 3 times. We're going to make the last adjustment by shear feeling. So, please disable snapping, and drag the edge until it matches the edge of the step. For the walls, we're going to copy the first floor walls. First, select Object Mode. Select the wall container, and duplicate it. Enable snapping. Set the snap increment to 3, and drag the new wall container up until it snaps. Delete the door and replace it with a window. And, for the roof, we'll do something similar. If you have doubts about any part of this video, please ask your questions on the comments section down below. I will answer all of them. That's all for this episode. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget to like and share. To make videos like this one takes lots of time and effort. If you found it useful, please consider subscribing to this channel. It's easy and it costs you nothing. Also, please don't forget to enable the notification bell so I can let you know whenever I upload a new episode. I'm April McQuinn. Cheers, my darlings.